From the Pyle Media Venture Studios in Sharpsville, Indiana, this is the Jacob Pyle Show with tonight's guest, Luke Austin Daugherty, and the host of our show, Jacob Pyle.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Please don't talk about love tonight. Please don't talk about sweet love. Please don't talk about being true and all the trouble that we've been through. Oh, please don't talk about all the plans we had fixing this broken romance. I wanna go where the people dance. I want some action. I wanna live action. I've got so much to give. I wanna give it. I wanna get some too. I love the nightlife. I've got to boogie on the disco round. Oh yeah. Oh, I love the nightlife. I've got to boogie on the disco round, oh yeah. Please don't talk about love tonight. Your sweet talk won't make it right. Love and lies just bring me down. When you've got men all over town, you can love them all, and when you're through, maybe that'll make a woman out of you. I wanna go where the people dance. I want some action. I wanna live action. I've got so much to give. I wanna give it. I wanna get some too. I love the nightlife. I've got to boogie on the disco round. Oh yeah. Oh, I love the nightlife. I've got to boogie on the disco round. Oh yeah. Oh, I love the nightlife. I've got to boogie on the disco round. Oh yeah. Oh, I love the nightlife. I've got to boogie on the disco round. Oh yeah. Oh, I love the nightlife. I've got to boogie on the disco round. Oh yeah. Oh, I love the nightlife. I've got to boogie on the disco round. Oh yeah. Oh, I love the nightlife. I've got to boogie on the disco round. Oh yeah. Oh, I love the nightlife. I've got to boogie on the disco round. Oh yeah.
Thank you. And now a classic by Willie Nelson.
Well, hello there. It's been a long, long time. How am I doing? Oh, I guess that I'm doing fine. It's been so long now, but it seems that it was only yesterday. Gee, ain't it funny? How time slips away. How's your new love? I hope that he's doing fine. I heard you told him that you'd love him till the end of time. Now that's the same thing that you told me. Seems like just the other day. Gee, ain't it funny how time slips away? I gotta go now. I guess I'll see you around. Don't know when though. You'll never know when I'll be back in town. But remember what I told you. In time you're gonna pay. And it's surprising how time slips away.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you. And thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Jacob Pyle Show for this Saturday night, Sunday morning, November 2nd, 2025. My name is Jacob Pyle, and I'm glad to have you with us. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, amazing Halloween weekend with your friends and family. My guest for tonight is Luke Austin Daugherty. More about that in a second. My Halloween weekend is going spectacularly. I helped out with my youth ministry's trick-or-treating for the community event this past Friday. This, I believe, is my 14th Halloween in a row helping out with this. I enjoy every minute of it. It's funny because my parents used to take me trick-or-treating around Sharpsville every year. And I think once I started getting old, I think the last few years before I graduated, I would just pass out candy because I was obviously getting too old for trick-or-treating. And then after I graduated high school, I then started helping out over here. So it's been, I enjoy doing it. I get to see a lot of people I know, people I haven't seen in a while. It amazes me how most of these people were kids, and then now they're grown-ups with kids of their own. It's truly amazing how time flies sometimes, I did want to answer a question I get asked frequently during Halloween. Why do you never dress up for Halloween? Well, the answer is I do dress up for Halloween. I go as myself. I've seen a lot of people wearing wonderful costumes. I especially love the ones that come from the heart, that you can't find at any Halloween shop or Party City. Is Party City even still around? I know they closed several of them in the Indianapolis area, but I don't know if they're still in other states or things like that. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to go on an adventure sometime and see. But even if you go to some place like Petco or PetSmart or during the Halloween season, they do have Halloween costumes made for dogs. This is true. I saw a group of people who brought their dog with them. It didn't bark or anything. My seizures weren't going off. But they dressed the dog up in this cute hot dog costume. Get it? Hot dog. And I thought it was so cute. I know another guy dressed up as Mario from the Mario games. I thought that was... I play Mario a lot. I have several versions of Mario that I play for my Super Nintendo. And yeah, That's so cool. Well, anyway, folks, my guest for tonight is Luke Austin Daugherty, and we'll be back with part 1 of his conversation right after this. Welcome back. My guest for tonight is a poet and a singer. We had him on as a guest on one of the early episodes of the Jacob Pyle Show when it was referred to as Night Talk. He was an amazing guest and an amazing friend, and still is, and I can't wait to see where our conversation takes us tonight. Please welcome to our program from his home in Indianapolis, Luke Austin Daugherty. Welcome back to the Jacob Pyle Show.
Hey Jacob, it's good to be on the podcast again, albeit through a laptop screen from afar. I'm glad to be back and do my best to answer your questions as you have sent them to me.
For the sake of the newer viewers who are just meeting you for the first time, tell us about yourself.
Tell you about myself. Well, I guess I would say I'm a poet first, because that entails, I think, more than just writing poetry. I think it's an approach to life, and I think a poet should love people, mix it up, get out in the world and see what's going on, and write it down, much like a journalist or a photojournalist. I think a poet should do a lot of observing in life, a lot of feeling, a lot of thinking, a little less talking, and then write it down. So that's probably, throughout all the seasons of my life, one of the things that's been the most constant. I'm also a father. I'm a husband. I operate a small business that helps me to do the literary things. I like riding bikes, hence my cycling cap that I've decked out with some poetry scribbles on there. And I love to cook, love to eat good food, and have long conversations. Sip a little whiskey and gin, and stuff like that.
Now, what made you interested in being a poet?
That is a hard question to answer, in the sense of I did not initially decide to become a poet as such. A few things, one in particular, happened when I was very young that I think kind of flipped on the poetry DNA. My father also wrote poetry, although he didn't publish until I think he was in his mid-50s, maybe late 50s. But I have some collections of his poetry that he wrote also across his life. My first poetry that I ever wrote, at least that I have, I think I was 6. There are a few little things from 6 and 7 years old and up. Some of my journals that I had when I was young got lost, or through the ravages of time, so I don't have those. But what really unlocked poetry as an adult, it was kind of a happenstance thing. So I would say it had been building up, and I wrote here and there, kind of sporadically, also essays and other things, and I've been a songwriter since I was 18 and a half, 19 years old. So I've always written. But as far as poetry specifically, when I was maybe 25, I think, I happened into a Goodwill store on one of my lunch breaks, because I like going to thrift stores. Well, anyway, there was this new, at that time, unused, brown, very, about yay big, classic line journal, just blank lines, nothing fancy, no dates or anything like that. And I think it was 49 cents. And there was just something about that journal that called out to me. And I bought it. And that day I wrote at least one poem. And once I started writing in that journal, it was just a flurry ever since. But definitely those first few years, it was just like maybe when someone strikes oil and there's just this huge reserve of oil there, and as soon as it starts being mined or pumped or whatever you do to oil. It just seems like there's no end of it. And that was much for me, especially when I was starting to write in that first journal, how it was. And there's just never been an off switch with me for poetry. And so now I have a stack of journals that, if I stacked up, would be, pretty tall. I usually go through at least one journal a year, handwritten. Probably half as many years I'll need to get into a second journal. I at times write more on old typewriters, and then of course, in emails, sometimes on laptops and whatever. But my journals are really my go-to because they can travel with me and they go with me. I'm a very leggy person. I like to walk around, ride bikes, ride motorcycles, like to go on road trips, travel wherever I can. So a classic journal has been kind of my mainstay over the years. And I think humanity is what, if I could sum it up into a nutshell, humanity and life, although that seems kind of broad, is what keeps me interested in writing poetry. If I was not a professional poet, I would still write poetry. If I didn't publish for people to read, I'd still write it myself. It was only it seemed like the natural next step, once I had hundreds of poems, to make some of those available in some of my early chapbooks. I think, let me see. Well, it would have been, I think, 2005 were my first publications.
What have you been up to lately?
Maintaining my small business duties. I'm a one-part machine when it comes to that. Writing almost daily, playing some concerts here and there, fighting the power, trying to encourage others, and really family togetherness is paramount. My own mental health and physical health is very important to me. So all of that, and doing my best to enjoy life daily amidst the struggles that are built into this thing that we call existence.
What's your advice to any aspiring poets?
Inspiration is now, and I'll read a poem that relates to that. But the things that inspire you in life, they're happening like this. You might be completely doing something else. You might be at the grocery, looking at your little grocery list, and you need to grab some spaghetti noodles, and you need to grab some figs, who knows. And then something happens. You see an interaction between two complete strangers at the store, and then it's just like your world becomes just tunnel vision of inspiration. When that happens, write it down. If you don't have time, energy, or both at that moment to completely exhaustively write an entire poem, send yourself some notes in email. Use your little voice app and just say enough that it will bring it back to your mind later. Because if you do not do that, some of your finest work ever will escape you and be forgotten, and you'll never get back to it. And you'll be like, what was that thing? And you cannot remember it. So inspiration is now. 1, 2, write it down. Poetry happens, all right? That's the inspiration is now. Write it down, all right? That's the nutshell advice. It's on my hat. Poetry happens, inspiration, write it down. That's the other side.
Do you have any recent poetry books that you would like to promote?
Old-fashioned acoustic cassette tape demo is, like my earliest books, a hand-stapled printed bootleg at the moment. Now this will end up on Amazon, but for just old-time nostalgic personal joy, I made these like my very first 3 books that I sold at concerts, and that is, I went to Kinko's, printed them off, stapled them, and sold them. So this one, before it's going on Amazon, I chose to do it that way, just for the heck of it. So message me if you want one of those. And then once I put them on Amazon, I will put those links available. And then I've got, I think, something like, this is just a few that I grabbed, like this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. These are all available with some others on Amazon. I think this is my 11th book. It's my 10th or 11th. Anyway. The easiest way to get a hold of me, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or just email, Luke Austin Daugherty, my full name, Luke Austin Daugherty at Gmail, or just message me on any of those apps or what have you.
We have to pause for this break. When we come back, we will have the conclusion to my interview with Luke Austin Daugherty. Stay with us.
If you want to be a guest on the Jacob Pyle Show, send Jacob an email. His email address is jtpyle1@aol.com. That's also where to email if you want a DVD copy of the show. Please mention the air date seen on your screen when ordering. The DVD is $10. Residents outside of Indiana will pay an additional $5 shipping and handling fee. Back to you, Jacob.
Welcome back. My guest for tonight, if you're just now joining us, is Luke Austin Daugherty. Something that Luke wanted me to tell you is that you might hear some banging noises from across the street. They're working on a house across the street from where Luke's at in Indianapolis. So that's what you might be hearing if you during the interview. So with that being said, last time you were here, you were telling me that you had a companion that you bring with you on your travels, a piece of toast by the name of Toasty McToasterson. For those who have not seen the original interview, tell us about Toasty McToasterson.
Okay, so here is the backstory, the lore on Toasty McToasterson. Check it out. The world through my toast hole on Instagram and TikTok. All right. So in 2021, approximately 4.5 years ago, we were visiting the Adirondacks, upstate New York, because some of our friends were getting married. And actually on the day they got married, that morning, we went to a little diner, or actually it's a decent sized diner, in Old Forge, New York, called Key's Pancake House. And I ordered my standard, 2 eggs, bacon, toast, hash browns. And so they brought it out. Curiously, the toast was unbuttered, which adds to the ability for what I'm still doing now, almost 5 years later. So the toast came out and it's cut diagonally. One of the quarters had a little hole in it, about the size of a dime. And at that moment, there were 2 geezers, nice, kindly old gentlemen over, having a spirited conversation. And all of a sudden I thought, what would they look like through this little hole, right? So I took the toast. This is the same toast. It still lives. See that? And I just popped out my phone. This was like momentary inspiration. A strike of lightning. Toasty lightning. And I took a picture of these guys having a conversation, and then I cropped it down and I was like, that looks cool. So then I went outside and I took a picture of the Key's Pancake House sign and some other stuff. And then on that trip, I just kept taking pictures. And though it is absurd artistically to do photography through a hole in a piece of toast and then to keep doing it, I think there is a beauty in willful absurdity as we live in this life that has a lot of tragedy, which is also absurd. And many times you don't get to choose when those tragedies happen to you. So it's kind of a way to rage against the dying of the light and all that kind of thing. And in light of losing a son, my son Nathaniel, he was 20, in 2020, it was an extremely hard time. Still not, slightly over a year later, and was going through a lot. And so it became, along with writing a lot of poetry across those few years and since, it became and still is a very interesting way to capture things. And much like if you're familiar with the haiku form of poetry, which I generally write free verse poetry, except since actually the day my son left out of town, I wrote the first haiku I'd written in years, And then after he passed away, for some reason, I kept writing haiku kind of regularly. Not most of what I wrote, but still regularly. And I think similarly to haiku poetry, where you can write about any subject, as long as you can write about it in 3 lines. Now, if you're writing, call it traditional standard haiku poetry, 5, 7, 5 syllables in 3 lines. You can write about the biggest topics of love, life, death, sadness, triumph, as long as you can stew that down into those syllables. You can also write about little things. You could write about a leaf from a tree. You could write about a petal from a tiny flower or something like this, or whatever. So in that same way, it has been a very challenging thing creatively to, through this tiny hole in my toast, take pictures of everything from a little battalion of ants that were eating refried beans off of a discarded can lid on the side of the road down the way from my house, to catching a double rainbow over the Grand Canyon, which you have to jump out and run through snake territory to get to very quickly during a storm, as my wife can attest to, when I made her nervous and jumped out of the car. But so that's what Toasty McToasterson is, and I plan to, after the 5th toast birthday, which would be early next summer or late spring, to publish a book that it is comprised of what I think are the most transformative or interesting or funny or sad or beautiful or ugly pictures that I've taken through the toast hole, the world through my toast hole. So check that out on Instagram or TikTok, and for some previews and such. But it is a lot of fun, and I've made some really interesting connections through taking pictures of things through toast. It is wild. Like, I'll just be standing somewhere, with a piece of toast. I was at Klingman's Dome somewhat recently, and in the Smokies, and I was taking pictures, and there was a group of like 4 or 5 people, and the lady just looked at me and said, "Is that bread?" And I was like, "Yep." And she wanted to hear about it, and then I told them, and I took a picture of them, and all that. So it is the toast that binds us. And I have no idea how long this toast will last. So there's a certain fleeting, ethereal nature to this photography project.
Do you have a poem that you would like to share with us tonight?
Do I have a poem to share? Yes. And I'll be on the theme. Inspiration is now. Inspiration is now. It is a grand breath breathing into your spirit from the everything. Inspiration is now, like a railroad train passing by which confronts you with the sharp choice: either jump immediately on this adventure, riding wherever it may go, or miss the opportunity forever. Inspiration is now, like the most fleetingly alive and gorgeous rainbow you have ever witnessed, or a sunset so quickeningly beautiful that you wish it would someday replicate at the exact moment of your fading shadow, so you may be gifted with the privilege of feeling your final heartbeat paired with the golden lightning explosion of those colors in a cresting crescendo. Inspiration is now, not before, not after. It is a prowling tiger, growling, roaring, who must be taken by the tail, or be lost, missed, forsaken forever. So don't miss it.
We are out of time. My thanks to Luke Austin Daugherty for joining us. I'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel, with another guest to talk to. Until then, for Luke Austin Daugherty and all of us on the Jacob Pyle Show, I'm Jacob Pyle. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe, and good night, everybody.
Like the pine trees lining the winding road, I got a name. I got a name. Like the singing bird and the croaking toad, I got a name. I got a name. And I carry it with me like my daddy did. but I'm living the dream that he kept hid. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by. Like the north wind whistling down the sky.
This program has been pre-recorded. Join us next week on the Jacob Pyle Show, where Jacob's guest will be voice actor Kevin Cronin. And speaking of Kevin Cronin, I am Kevin Cronin. Good night.
I got a song. I got